Hi everyone, and welcome to Jack and Cat Adventures. Today we're going to be making beef and noodles. It's a one-pot meal, very easy. We're going to start out with a tablespoon of butter in our pan and a half of an onion cut. However you want to cut it, dice it, slice it, it doesn't matter. However you like to eat it. And then we're going to soften this up. I want it to become translucent, which means you can see through the onion. Alright, so my onions are sauteed to translucent, and they will cook some more, so don't worry. Now we're going to add our stew meat, 1.5 pounds of stew meat. And we're going to brown this with our onions. Oops. This will cook for about 8 to 10 minutes. Alright, my meat is nice and browned. And now we're going to add 2 cups of the 3 cups of broth. So only 2 cups go in now. Alright, now we're going to bring this up to a boil, and once it comes to a boil, we're going to cover it, turn it down to a simmer, and simmer it for 20 to 30 minutes. Alright, now that the beef is done, I added 2 cups of the 3 cups of broth, and now I'm going to add my seasonings. I have 2 bay leaves, a half a teaspoon of dried thyme, a half a teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of pepper, and we're just going to put all that in, mix it around. We're going to put the lid on, and we're going to bring it up to a boil. Sorry, we're going to bring it up to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, we're going to put the lid on, turn it down to simmer, and simmer it for 20 to 30 minutes. I just wanted to let you guys know that when I put the lid on mine for the first like 10-15 minutes, the water or the liquid was not going down, and you want this to be a really rich gravy. So what I did was I moved my meat away from the burner, and I just left the liquid there, and I just keep moving the liquid around towards that burner, the end of that burner, and we want it to get down to about half of what was in there. And then we can start cooking it with the lid on and adding the extra broth. I just, when I looked at it, the liquid in it was not looking good. It was more just water looking. And so I really wanted this to be a rich gravy. So if yours is like mine, it might have been my onions had a lot of water in them. It might have been my meat had a lot of water in it. I don't know. I did not have this problem before. So I'm just trying to remedy it. So if you guys run into this, we can fix it. So I'm just going to keep stirring it back and forth on that hot burner. Now my meat is off the burner over here. Once we get it down to where we think it's going to be thick enough for the meat, we're going to put the lid on and continue cooking the meat on low, just a simmer. Alright, so like I said, I boiled that down. Come take a look and see in the pan. It's a very dark type of gravy. That's what you're looking for. So if yours looks really light and kind of just like water, take your lid off. This took a while, but I just stood here and kept doing that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my meat back into the middle of my pan, and I am going to just simmer this with the lid on for another, probably I would say another 10 to 15 minutes. And if I have to add any more of the broth, we'll come back and show you that. Alright, I am going to add a little bit of the broth, just a little bit, because we're going to need gravy. This is going to go over noodles. So I just put a little bit in, and I'm still simmering mine because I boiled the water off, so I didn't simmer my meat as long as it should have been. So I'm just going to simmer my meat some more and see how nice and that gravy is. Maybe we'll add a little bit more. Okay, so far I've used maybe a quarter cup maybe. All right, so we're gonna just let this simmer some more. All right, so my meat is all tender. At this point, take your bay leaves out. Because you cannot eat those. And I just want to let you know, I think it needed a little bit more flavor. So I just added about a half a teaspoon of Gravy Master to it while it was simmering and put it in, and it just adds a little bit extra flavor. And here I have a quarter cup of very cold water and 1 tablespoon of cornstarch. You're going to whisk that. Make sure there's no lumps in it. And then we're going to pour it into our pan. And at this point, we're going to cook it for another 10 minutes because we want this to thicken up now. Alright, so now that the meat is all done and my noodles are cooked, I just added everything together and it's ready to eat. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And remember, you do you.